I usually use my laptop, but my kids were using that one. So I was like, and I'm trying to log in and it kept saying your wrong password. I'm like, I know this is the password. I don't know what the problem is. So it's had to do a whole new thing.
I'm almost there. Hold on, guys. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
We're not going anywhere.
Yeah. You promise?
We'll be here. Promise.
You're stuck with me.
Yep.
Okay. This is not working. Oh, well. It's not working the way I wanted it to. Sorry. That's okay. Okay. So welcome to the very first Mother's Day tribute. I hope that this can become a nice little tradition for us. I'm so happy to be able to do any little something for moms, especially many of you who I know are brand new to the journey of child loss. It gives you quite a mixed feeling about Mother's Day, and I know that, and I know it's very difficult. So just wanted to give you my love and just send you some good, happy feelings. The way we're going to do this is we are going to, Bob Willis is going to share first, then Corinth Parker is going to talk, then I'm going to talk, and then we're going to go around to each one of you and give you an opportunity to light a candle and say your child's name if you want to do that. So I think I'm going to be able to like put you in the spotlight when it's your turn so that you know it's your turn. So if you don't know me, and really everyone here knows me except for a couple maybe. So I'm Karen Camerato, and I am the person that started Rising Above in memory of, and I lost my son Nicholas 24 years ago when he fell through the ice of a frozen pond here in South Carolina. I still miss him very much, but my life has literally been transformed in the last 5 years just by finally taking some baby steps that added up to big steps. And I'm actually like living a very happy, wonderful life. I also have 2 other children. My daughter Brooke's 25 and my son Colin is 22. So without further ado, I am going to give it to Bob, and let's see if we can spotlight him.
I'm spotlighted.
Thank you so much. Okay, wait. Let me read Bob's. Let me tell you about Bob. Bob Willis served as a Baptist minister for 18 years and hospice bereavement coordinator for 16 years. He continues to provide grief support and counseling for families, facilitates grief support groups for the community, and is a frequent speaker on grief, loss, and caregiver issues. His book, A Guide for Grievers, provides information on grief and loss. Bob has been a sculptor for over 25 years with emphasis on grief support. He has bronze work in colleges, hospitals, and a veterans memorial park. Bob and his wife Lynn reside in Edmond, Oklahoma. They have been married for 51 years and they have 2 grown children and 8 grandchildren. And I'll just add that Bob has a beautiful Facebook post every day that is very inspirational. And so if you don't follow Bob, I would definitely suggest you do. And also check out his sculptures, which are especially for people that have lost a loved one, and they're really very beautiful. So go ahead, Bob. Thank you so much for being here.
All right. Karen, thank you for the invitation. I just want to share some things that I believe would be very helpful, things that would help me along this journey of grief, is realizing that what we feel on the inside following a loss, that's your grief. No one can see that part. It's personal, it's private, it's different for everyone. But when you talk about it, it becomes mourning. So grief is on the inside, mourning is when it's expressed. In fact, a great definition of mourning is grief gone public. People can see it and hear it. Well, Jesus did not say, blessed are those who grieve, but he did say, blessed are those who mourn. They shall be comforted. So I encourage people to talk about their pain, to talk about their losses, especially for moms, especially moms of bereaved moms right now. Mother's Day, tomorrow, a hard day. You know, I've read recently that 3 difficult days for a bereaved mother: the day of the child's birth, the day of the child's death, and Mother's Day. 3 very difficult days. But over the years, I've come to realize that the most difficult day for a griever is the day that ends in Y. That can be the hard day. It may be a Tuesday morning, and that can be a hard day for you. So everybody's a little different with it. But moms, you have a new role now. You have a new role. As a mother, you provide care for your children. But as a bereaved mom, I believe that you are a caretaker of memories. You are the one who takes care of the memories. And in doing that, I think it's important to use the child's name. I really do. Names do not die. You know, we could walk through a store and see a block of granite there. It would mean nothing. But you engrave the name of your child into that block of granite, and suddenly it has value to it. You put the date of their birth, it has even more value. So names don't die. And that's why I think it's important for us to talk about and use the child's name. And even around those people who are uncomfortable with it, I'd say, talk on. It's your grief, talk on. Because we lose people physically. You know, that's the part we lose, but we never lose people emotionally, and we never lose people spiritually. We have emotions that can be triggered by the least little thing, maybe by just seeing someone else who has a child. It can trigger our emotions. And because of that, it's a reminder that emotionally you still have that relationship. And that's a real valuable relationship. But I do want to share with you, as a caretaker of memories, look for ways that you can honor the life of your child. A lot of people will remember that your child died. I believe as a caretaker of memories, it's up to you to help them remember that the child lived and be able to talk about those milestones, be able to talk about the feelings, be able to talk about that child, realizing that a lot of the things that you feel are your lost dreams for your child, the hopes and the desires that you have for your child. Sometimes those are cut short. And when that's cut short, that can be a very difficult time for us. You know, I do want to share with you something that came about in my sculpting experience. It's interesting. I started sculpting probably within 3 months of the time I started doing grief work. And so sculpting gives me good therapy to work along the way. And if you have not found therapy, I would encourage it. I tend to think everyone needs therapy, some more than others. But find a way that you can turn off the grief for a little while and feed yourself, because grief has a way of emptying you. And because of that, we need to find a way to feed us somewhat. But I had a gallery in Texas for several years, and I was working one day and sculpting, and the family came in to see if I would do a bust of their 3-year-old grandson who had drowned. And so I was working on that bust of that little boy. God showed me something. In fact, I want to show you this little sample of it. Here's a little sample of I don't know where I can do that. There you see this little heart has some stitches. Stitches are past losses in life. We all have past losses in life. So we all have these little scars and stitches all over us, but the heart's broken right down the middle. But right across that break, I put a bandage. Put a bandage across that broken heart. I worked with hospice nurses for probably 16 years. I learned that bandages do not heal. They just hold you together while God does the healing. So what I want to encourage you to do, find your bandage. Find your bandage. You know, the group that Karen pulls together and on a regular basis that you meet, you talk and you share, that can be a bandage. That can help hold you together while God's doing the healing. But it may be that safe person too that you can call 2 o'clock in the morning That could be the person that helps hold you together. I had a young man in one of my grief groups who taught me a lesson. He was only 17, and I learned from him because I said we all need someone who will listen to us. And he said, that's right, Bob, but we also need someone who will hear us. Oh my. I was driving home thinking about what he said, and I realized that we listen with our ears, and sometimes it come in one ear and go out the other, but we listened. But you hear people with your Heart. You cannot spell the word heart until you spell the word hear first. So we need that person who will hear us on the heart level, not just with the head, but the feeling part, the heart level. That is a person who can be your bandage in life and be your support. You can find that person. It may not be a relative, it may not be in your family because they'll be struggling also, but find that person who will hear you on the heart level. That is a treasure. So we find that treasure, hold on to it. Psalms 147:3 says, he heals the brokenhearted, he binds up their wounds. In the margin of my King James Bible, it says he binds up their grief. He does that. I can't do it. You being part of this group today is evidence that you can find a bandage. And this group may be your bandage. Maybe someone in this group can be your bandage, kind of hold you together while God's doing the healing. I feel honored to be here with you today because I can never know the pain that you ladies feel. But remember this, you are the caretaker of the memories now. The caretaker of the memories. Structure those in such a way you can talk about them and you can share them and find those same people you can share with. Thanks for allowing me this time. Karen, thank you very much for the invitation to be here.
Thank you so much, Bob. That was beautiful. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go to Corinth now. And there she, oh, did I spotlight the wrong person? Hold on. Coley. Hold on. Sorry.
You're on.
Coley, you got something to say? You want to give us a speech? I'm sorry. Hold on. Here we go.
It's
Okay.
me. Hi, everyone.
Okay, wait. Let me tell everyone who you are.
Okay.
Corinth was born in Atlanta, Georgia, but raised in Tampa, Florida. She saw firsthand what a servant's heart was at a young age as her parents answered the call to become missionaries and pastors of a local church. She helped serve her community by volunteering for Community Outreach Center. Corinth studied elementary education and psychology at Bethune-Cookman University in Daytona Beach, Florida. There, she served diligently in helping Volusia County with countless community service projects. She returned to Tampa, Florida, and continues to serve her community by helping as many families as she can with her love and support with others struggling through journeys of grief. Her husband actually said the following about her. She is a mother, a daughter, a wife, an author, a businesswoman, a leader of women. She loves everyone, and she loves everyone deeply. And Corinth has her own personal story, which I am not sure if you're sharing today, but okay, good. And she is the founder of A Little Life Unlived. So, okay, Corinth, it's all you.
Okay, first I want to thank you, Karen, for this opportunity to share. What you're doing is amazing and it's beautiful. But before I tell you what I do, I want to tell you why. My why. My husband and I, first of all, I was told I would never have children. So I had my daughter, I had my son, and they were approaching 7, 8, and we decided we wanted to have one more child. And it became a challenge, which we did not see coming after several miscarriages and a stillborn. I remember the pain and the brokenness that I was feeling when I knew that I wouldn't be able to bring my baby home. We were faced with decisions that we had to make that we weren't just prepared to. And we had to find a way to incorporate our kids because they were expecting a little sister to come home. That wouldn't happen. So when I was at the hospital, I just found this strength to get me through it. but I had no idea what was ahead. So I remember the day that they were letting me go home. I looked at my husband and I told him, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. If I go home, that's when it becomes real. And I remember he went to get the car and I stepped by the window in the hospital room, and out of nowhere, this beautiful butterfly just came to our window, flapped its wings and flew away gracefully. And I remember how much peace I felt flood my heart. That is my why. Going through it, I remember I just wanted everyone to just stop what they were doing because I had just gone through this traumatic experience. And my daughter needed something from the store. I ran to the store and, you know, I was kind of like in this blur, just not really there, not really here. And the lady, she wasn't really as helpful as I thought she should have been. And I got ready to storm off with an attitude. And she kind of looked at me and then I turned around and I said, hey, look, I'm sorry if I'm being a little difficult today. This is what I just went through. And as I shared my story with her, she looked up at me in tears and said, my daughter's going through the same thing right now and I can't be with her. And we, two strangers, just hugged in the middle of the store and cried and held each other. And that's when I knew that God had put it on my heart. This was my purpose. That no one should have to grieve alone or suffer the loss of their baby alone. And so since then, I've just been helping families, providing support in whatever way possible. It's kind of hard to say exactly what we do as a Little Life Unlived because there's so many services that we provide. One of the biggest things that I provide is one-on-one coaching, grief coaching that kind of helps them to find the beauty in their grief. I also started a child loss support group, and that has been amazing. The support that we have with each other and being there for each other has been a blessing. So my heart today is really just, you know, for the mothers who struggle with infertility or who have gone through the loss of a baby, miscarriage or stillbirths. It's really difficult, especially for Mother's Day, because we feel like a part of us is not there. And so one thing that I want to encourage you is to, you know, grief is beautiful when you make it your own. And I say that because I was in a place where I was wondering why, or what if I had my baby? What if my baby was a dancer? What if my baby would have been the next president? You know, that's really what grief is when you lose a baby. It's those hopes and dreams, you know, that you have for your child are no longer, or just snatched away. And sometimes it seems unfair, but I promise you, when you start to find the beauty in life, find the things that, you know, let's say for an example, I lost my little girl. So I imagined her being a singer, a dancer. And so I find relief just doing things that would honor her. So that's my thing, to change your shift from what if to what now. Where do I go from here? How can I honor my baby? And Bob touched on something that really just touched my heart, you know, just finding a way to honor your loved one. And sometimes it can be difficult, especially if you don't have anyone there with you to go through Mother's Day. For so many different reasons. And even, you know, like I said, I have three children now, but I don't know what I would do without them. And I still miss my baby girl. I miss her like crazy on Mother's Day. I miss her on the day she was supposed to be born. I miss her. But what I found to help me to find the beauty in it is that I can help other families, is that I can find find that thing that honors your baby. And that's the beauty in grief, is when you can make it your own, because it's very unique. No one can tell you how to grieve. It's a personal journey. And I want to encourage you today, if you have gone through the loss of a baby, through miscarriage or stillborn, there is still beauty that God wants to reveal to you. So I just want you to be encouraged today. And I love what I do. I would have never dreamed, like Karen shared, I went to school for elementary education and I was teaching for. So this has been, I left teaching altogether up until the quarantine, and now I'm teaching again in my but this has been my passion and my purpose, to help others so that they don't have to suffer the loss, and to help them through their grief journey and help them to find beauty, as to encourage all mothers out there. I know it can be difficult, but try to change your perspective and find something beautiful that you can do to honor your baby. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You're amazing. I met Corinne in my grief coaching certification, and she is truly a beautiful person. I knew it from the moment that I met her, and she has been such an encouragement to me. And she just oozes love, I think. But I will say that I wanted her to talk specifically about stillbirth and miscarriage, because I feel like sometimes those mamas don't get the recognition. So I wanted to make sure that she did speak on that.
So Karen, really quick, I forgot to
Mhm.
mention, a lot of times, especially, Mother's Day, it's not just the mothers who will have children physically here on this earth. So it's so important, especially for Mother's Day, to honor those mothers, because they're still mothers. They are mothers in their hearts. And so that's the beauty in Mother's Day. It can be celebrated in whatever way you choose. And so I don't want anyone to feel down, even though that comes with it, but find a way, because a lot of times people think, well, I don't physically have a child on this earth, or I would find myself saying, oh, well, the baby wasn't far enough, so I didn't count those miscarriages, or, and a lot of times that's what I find, that families struggle on these holidays, because they don't really want to mention the loss, because they don't really validate based on someone who's had a child that passed, but it is a loss nonetheless. And so none is greater than the other. It's like I said, it's a journey. It's a grief journey. And so I just wanted to add that on too. Sorry.
Yes. No, that's perfect. Thank you so much for being here today. It means so much to me. So if anyone else joined, which I don't know, I can't tell, there's like so many people on the screen. I'm Karen. I am the person that started Rising Above, and I lost my son Nicholas 24 years ago. There's times where I feel kind of bad, because it's gotten to the point where I've told my story so many times that I find myself shortening it and cutting it off, because I just feel like I've said it so many times, and I really always want it to be about everybody else now. And I want you to understand that telling your story is so important. If there's one thing that I've learned, it's that being able to tell your story leads to being able to find the acceptance that you need. And some people don't like to hear the word acceptance. They think it means that somehow they're accepting this horrible thing that has happened. And that's not what I mean. And when you're brand new to grief, you probably can't even consider the word acceptance. But as time goes on, you do understand what acceptance is, and you can find peace in your heart. And my message to everyone is always going to be, it can get better. And I know it doesn't feel that way. And I just want to be an encouragement. When I lost Nick, there was no internet. There was just some books about the stages of grief, and the examples that I had were two women that I knew that were both pretty tragic, sad figures. And so I kind of thought that was the life that I was destined to lead. And it was only by going through life and raising my other children, which I know that I'm so blessed to have, and I know there's others that don't have another child, and I can't even imagine how much harder that makes it. But by the time that they grew and I was able to really start giving attention back to Nicholas and what I wanted to do in his honor, it started to all become crystal clear. And it all started with some very small steps. You can't think about, creating a foundation and raising $1 million for a cause, or, building a school in Africa or whatever. You just need to start with a small step, even if it's something just personal for you. I hate saying my story because it's sort of corny, but my first step was going to a Zumba class because it made me feel alive again. And so while I'm never going to say that you should take a Zumba class and that'll fix everything, because it won't, but it did give me not so much the fitness part, but the friendship, getting out of the house, the hour off of feeling sad. That was kind of the beginning for me. And then it just kind of snowballs. Once you feel a little bit better, then you can take steps to do something else that makes you feel better. So I just encourage you to do that. I encourage you to tell your story, even if you think that nobody wants to hear it, or even if it makes you nervous, or even if you have to tell a stranger. If you're feeling it, you need to tell it. And I know my coworkers were the ones who heard it like 1,000,000 times. I literally told the same story over and over again because I just couldn't believe that it had happened. But by the time I finished processing that and didn't feel the need to tell every person that I met what had happened, I was realizing that I was learning the acceptance piece of things. So that's everything for me. I wrote something that I want to read, and so I practiced it. I said this in the beginning. I practiced it like 4 times, and I kept crying. But I'm not going to cry. I'm going to try not to cry, but I want you to know my heart is for you guys so much. I know how hard it is, and I just want you to know that I'm here for you in whatever way you need. To all moms with a piece of their hearts missing, this is for you. For those who never even got to see your sweet, precious children, their little heartbeats silenced before they entered the world. See. Oh, how you must wonder what their innocent faces would have looked like. This is for you. For those whose children came into the world sleeping, without the breath of life entering their bodies, oh, how you must wonder what their cries would have sounded like. This is for you. For those whose children who were only ever called babies, their little lives ending before they practically began. Oh, how you must wonder what their first steps would have looked like. This is for you. For those whose children crawled and walked and played, gone from this earth with their innocence intact. Oh, how you must wonder if their personalities and looks would have changed as they moved into their next stage of childhood. This is for you. For those whose children grew and entered their teens, at times awkward, exciting, exasperating, and engaging. Oh, how you must wonder about their milestones, wins and losses, ups and downs, gifts and struggles, and of course, proms, graduations, and next steps. This is for you. For those whose children weren't really children anymore, young adults asserting their independence and making their own decisions. Oh, how you must wonder about their adulthood. Would they have traveled the world, found their dream jobs, gotten married, become parents? This is for you. For those whose children were definitely not children at all, grown-ups, living their lives, walking their paths, struggling and succeeding. Oh, how you must wonder what they would have done next. How would they have taken care of you in your old age? This is for you. This is for all the moms with a piece of their hearts missing. For it matters not when or how that precious missing piece was removed, only that it can't be replaced and will never be forgotten. One sec, I'm good. I'm really good, I promise. Today, as we come together to remember those who bestowed us with the title of mother, let us thank them for allowing it to be so. Becoming a mom is the most precious gift we can receive. The unconditional love that we learned to give once we knew we carried life inside us will never be gone. We will hold it with us forever, keeping it safely tucked away in that place where our missing piece belongs. And until the day we are reunited with our precious children, we accept the challenge of living a life of joy, meaning, and purpose in their honor. Okay, so now if we can go around, and if everyone has a candle, we're gonna light our candles, and I'm going to try to spotlight each person as we go. I'll say your name, we'll go down the list. So I would love for you to say the name of your child, and if you have other children and you wanna say their names too, that's fine, but you don't have to. So I'll just start with, I'm gonna start with Lee. She's on top here.
Yeah, if I could quit crying.
I know, I could hear you crying. It was making me cry. Okay.
Okay. My name is Lee, and I'm the mom of 5. And I'm going to cry again. Sorry. My sweet baby was 18 years old when she went to see Jesus. Her name is Anna McKenzie, and I'm really going to miss her this year. Watch my lighter not work.
We need comic relief. It would be okay.
Well, I have another one, so we're good.
Back up.
Yeah.
You're fine.
There we go.
Okay. Thank you for being here, Lee.
Thank you.
Okay, Maria, you are next.
Hey, my name is Maria. My daughter Maddie died a little over 2 years ago from suicide on my mom's birthday. But here's my candle. Forever in my heart. She was forever 14. She was 14 years old. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having this.
Oh, thanks. I'm glad you came. Daffy, do you have a candle? You there?
Sorry, I don't have a candle, yeah.
That's okay.
I'm here.
Just, why don't you just say what you want to say? Daffy's in India, guys.
Daffy, I have a candle. Wait, here's one for Bandit.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you so much.
And it's a birthday candle. Perfect, huh?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yeah. I'm Daffy Lynn. I'm from India. I'm a single mom with 3 children, Victor, Valentina, and Bandap, who went home with the Lord 3 years ago on the 4th of May. And yesterday, actually, it's his birthday. It has already crossed 12 here in India. I celebrated his birthday with my family. I know I will always be a mother to my 3 children. I love my children with all my heart. I'm sorry, I have no candle.
That's okay. Lee's got your candle lit.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
for coming today. I'm so glad you made it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Coley, going to you.
My name is Coley, and my son Noah passed away 6 months ago. And his picture's actually on.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you.
Sorry, this thing is flipping around on me. Okay. Okay, you're on.
Me?
You're on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay,
Leslie.
I didn't know.
Sorry.
Hi, my son is Jossam. He died a little over a year ago when he was 20 years old. I have his younger brother, is now 18, almost 19. And I miss Jossam a lot. Tomorrow will be hard without him. He would be the kid that would always find me something extra special for Mother's Day. That he searched for about 6 months. So, but his younger brother Rami will buy me flowers. That's just what I said I wanted. So lucky to have a son still. Okay, and here's my little candle. This is actually a candle. You can't see the bottom of it. It has a little butterfly on it.
Oh,
Anyway,
nice.
it's one that I got at the Compassionate Friends candle lighting ceremony.
Oh, pretty.
That's been used for him before. And thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, going to Margie next.
Oh. I'm Margie, from Kansas City. My son Kurt had cancer and passed away in September of 2018. Gosh, I miss that kid. My two boys, my older son is in San Jose, California, and those boys used to try to beat each other with Mother's Day. So sometimes I'd get Mother's Day on Friday, and then they'd be on Facebook telling each other I beat you, and I'm the favorite son. And I told Kenny, my older son, that Kurt was now my favorite son forever. And he didn't argue with me.
He knows better, right?
He does. By this time, yes, he knows better.
Thank you so much for being here, Margie.
Thank you.
Okay, Pam.
Hi,
You're next.
everybody. I'm Pam. I'm here in Greenville with Karen. I met Karen in Zumba. Gosh, it was before my son passed away, and she just has the sweetest heart of anybody I know. I want to thank you, Karen, for what you're doing, and Bob and Corinne, and happy Mother's Day to all of you. You mamas. I know it is so difficult. I lost my son, Jason. I don't know if you can see him in the background or not, by the candle. I lit the candle because I didn't want to burn the house down. So trying to talk and light the candle at the same time. But I miss him so much. I mean, it just, the worst thing a mother can go through. I have always said, and one of my favorite verses in the Bible talks about how children are a gift from God. And I've never been mad at God. He gave me, I've got a daughter also. She will be 44 this year. And my son had an aortic dissection when he was 34. He was in surgery for about 8 hours, made it through the night, and lived 9 more years. I was with him. He had been to Cleveland Clinic and had surgery, was with me recovering. And we had to call the ambulance because he dissected again. And so I was with him when he passed away. I was holding his hand, and I just thank God that I could be there and give him back to Jesus. And I just talked to him while he went back to Jesus. And it was just, it's an amazing thing to be able to do that, to be there with them when they come into the world, and then to be with them when they leave. I feel like that was a gift. And God has given me so many signs. I know a lot of you, it's butterflies and dragonflies, and I think for mine it's a cardinal. I have 2 in my yard now that come just about on a daily basis to visit. When Jason passed away, the day of his service, it snowed. It started snowing as soon as the service was about to start, and it snowed the whole time he was there, during the service, and then it just stopped. So, it was just like the snow angels were there to take us and be with us. And then somebody took a picture. This was before his service, and it was like a band of angels had surrounded the house, and they were just taking him up. in the sky. And it, you know, there's just so many things if you look back about, you know, maybe your child or just what happened before or after. I think God does send us signs, and I'm just thankful that he is with me and he's gotten me through this, because it has been hard, and we're not promised an easy life, but we are promised the fact that Jesus will be here with us to help us through it.
Mhm. I'm so glad you came. Thank you so much.
Thank
Love
you,
you.
Karen.
Okay, going to Julie.
Hi there.
Hi, Julie.
So I'm a mom of 3. Jude is my oldest son, Jameson is my middle, and Jonah was born February 20th, and he was born asleep, and I never got to hear him cry, but lighting a candle for him. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay, going to Trina.
Hello, everyone. I'm Trina. I'm actually from Greenville. My daughter Marge passed away December 10th, 2018, which will be 17 months tomorrow. So I am really not looking forward to tomorrow, but not much I can do about that. She was 17 and she was severely disabled, so I have a little bit different feelings at times about her death because she was really suffering at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and light this. Figure out how to light this. Okay, maybe I got to click it. All right, you go ahead and go on, Karen. I'm trying to figure out how.
No, go ahead. You hold the little thing down on the one side, like the little button, and then pull the trigger. It's not working?
Oh, I told you I'm clueless. I think it's dead. Yeah, it's dead.
Okay. Magic flame.
Magic flame.
Thank you for being here. Okay, Jan, are you here? Yes. Hang on, you're muted. Hang on, let's see if I can unmute you.
I
there
did.
You go. Okay,
Thank you.
Good.
I've got this. It's the 4 of us. I have 2 children. Wendy passed just about 9 months ago. So this is my first Mother's Day without her. She died of stage 4 colon cancer. She had really tough 8 months. It's been very, very difficult. And I'm trying to pull all kinds of resources together. But my biggest struggle is just exhaustion most of the time. But she was an author, an actress, the most beautiful soul you'd ever meet. And I miss her every moment. Thank you.
I'm glad you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay. Corinne, I'm going to you.
Sorry, I had mine on mute. My candle thing isn't working either.
Oh, that's what happens. That's
But
okay.
I have this.
Oh, that's beautiful.
I use this with some of my clients and I just light it up. So this is in honor of all of the little lives unlived and my little Chloe Amber Ray, who is watching, and I hope she's proud of me.
Oh, she is. She is definitely.
So Karen,
Thank you.
I have my mom here with me today. Sorry.
Okay. Hi, Mom.
Hello. How are you
Glad
guys?
you're here.
And
We love your daughter.
Thank you. I do too. And she went through 3 miscarriages as well. So I'm gonna light this again in memory of my little brothers and sisters that I.
Okay. Oh, beautiful. Thank you. Okay. Is anybody else? Did I miss anyone? Go back to this view. Did I get? I'm looking. It looks like I got everybody. Yes.
Like Jolie You missed
Oh,
Jolie.
Jolie. I missed Jolie. Oh my gosh. Jolie, you didn't speak. Oh, hold on. Okay. Jolie. I'm sorry.
I'm muted. There.
You're not muted
Sorry.
now. You're good.
I am sorry. My name is Jolie. I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada, and so blessed to have met Karen through this horrid journey. It's just, oh. But I really believe that there's blessings in everything, even the really painful stuff. I'm a mom of 3. I had 5 pregnancies and 3 live births. So, you know, loss is no stranger to me. My oldest son, Jay, is 41. My daughter, we just celebrated her 40th birthday yesterday. And I lost my Nicholas at 31 years and 17 days of age. And God, I miss that boy. But you know, I really love what Bob said in the beginning is say their name, you know, even though it makes others uncomfortable. Because we are the keepers of those memories. And I think for me, the biggest message for the world is don't worry about reminding us that our children are gone. Not for a moment do we forget. But it does my heart so good to know that you remember.
Thank
For
you
all
for
the
being
babies
here.
in heaven.
Thank you so much, Jolie. Okay, that's everything. I'm wondering, Bob, would I be pushing it if I asked you to lead us out with a prayer?
You know what? I would be honored to do that.
Okay. Hang on, I'll put you up.
Sure. There's a lot of courage here today, and I appreciate that. Thank you, ladies, for being here and for sharing. And it's okay to be emotional. It's okay. It's okay to shed those tears. The shortest verse in the Bible says Jesus wept. It's good for us too, okay? But yes, I would like for us to pray. I want to pray for you, okay? Father, thank you. We can approach you and thank you because you give comfort. Thank you for each one of these ladies that are here because they can lean upon you. I do ask that you might provide the memories that are needed and not only walk with them, but walk ahead of them, prepare their way, prepare their journey, soften the road a little bit for them, but yet provide the memories and the words that they can share to honor their children. Father, as we come to you, we realize your word says you'll never leave us. You will never forsake us. We thank you for that. Give us courage, give us strength, but most of all, give us your comfort. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Okay, guys, I want to thank you so much for being here today. I want you to know that I am here for you, and please reach out if you need someone to talk to, especially in this next day. I know that it's extremely difficult, especially for those who are brand new to this journey. And I just want to wish you the happiest possible Mother's Day, and I will hold you in my heart through this hard day. Thank you so much. Love you all.
Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.
Happy Mother's Day.
Thursday.
Two.
Bye.
Bye.